fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
Rain slicks the Viridian market's cobblestones, turning bustling stalls into a river of silver that mirrors the turmoil in my soul. I pull my threadbare cloak tighter, the wool biting my neck like the lingering stares of those who call my shadow magic a curse, a constant reminder of the danger that follows me. The scent of wet stone rises with the steam from hot broth pots, mingling with fresh earth and the faint perfume of crushed lavender from a nearby apothecary. The lavender pulls me back to a time when my biggest worry was whether the baker would give me an extra roll, not whether the darkness inside me would consume everything I love. Above, bruised clouds churn, spilling violet light colder than stone. Lightning forks across the sky, sketching jagged silhouettes across awnings and casting brief, electric shadows that dance over the faces of merchants and shoppers. Each flash feels like a warning, a reminder that the power I keep hidden is not just a gift but a storm waiting to break. Cale stands beside me, his dark hair plastered to his forehead, his eyes blazing with a fierce protectiveness that makes my pulse quicken. He is a tower of calm in the midst of the storm, his presence a comforting warmth that pushes against the chill of the evening. He presses a gloved hand against my shoulder. The heat of his skin seeps through the fabric, his breath warm against my ear, sending shivers down my spine. "You're not alone," he whispers, each syllable a promise and a threat, his voice low and husky, a sound that makes my heart skip a beat. The words settle on my skin like a soft caress, and I feel a shiver travel down my spine, not from the cold but from the certainty behind his voice. Rook lingers a step behind, his crooked grin lit by amber eyes that flicker with mischief and something deeper, a spark of attraction that I have grown accustomed to. He slips a silver dagger into my palm, its blade hums with a faint violet glow, the light pulsing in time with my own heartbeat, a reminder of the power that we share. "For when the night tries to swallow you whole," he murmurs, his voice low, sliding over me like silk, a gentle caress that soothes my frazzled nerves. The metal is cool, yet the glow feels alive, as if it remembers the darkness it was forged to cut, a darkness that I have faced before. I tuck the dagger into the inner fold of my cloak, feeling its weight settle against my ribs. The market erupts in chaos as the Sunstone heart, a massive crystal that once pulsed with a steady golden glow at the center of the square, cracks, spilling black mist that curls around stalls like living smoke. The mist is thick, cold as a lover's sigh, and it clings to my skin, whispering promises of power and ruin. Vendors scream, faces twisted in terror. A fruit seller drops a basket of bruised apples, their red flesh spilling onto the slick stones. A child clutches a soaked doll, eyes wide with fear. The mist claws at my skin, and I can feel the ancient power thrumming in my veins, the shadow magic I have spent years mastering surging forward, hungry for release. I close my eyes for a heartbeat, inhaling the rain-laden air, feeling the lavender's calming notes mingle with the metallic tang of fear. The darkness presses against the edges of my consciousness, whispering, "You could command it, you could be more than a hunted witch." I open my eyes to see Cale already moving, his blade flashing, carving a path through the choking fog. The metallic ring of his sword as it slices through the darkness is both familiar and comforting, a reminder of the protection he offers. "Run," Cale shouts, his voice cutting through the roar of panic. He thrusts his sword forward, and a thin corridor of light opens, the blade's enchantment pushing the black mist aside like water before a dam. I sprint toward the opening, the dagger in my hand humming louder with each step. The rain pounds my cloak, each drop a tiny drumbeat against the stone. My mind races, thoughts of the Sunstone heart's shattered fragments, of the black mist seeping into the city's veins, of the ancient prophecy that warned of a shadow-born queen who would either save or doom Viridian. Behind me, Rook's laughter rings out, a sound that is both reckless and reassuring. "Hold on to the dagger, love," he calls, his voice barely audible over the storm. "It will guide you." I clutch the dagger tighter, feeling its violet glow pulse in sync with my own heartbeat. The darkness tries to seep into my thoughts, but I focus on the rhythm of the rain, the steady thrum of my own pulse, and the memory of Cale's hand on my shoulder. We burst through the market's main archway, emerging onto a narrow alley lined with hanging lanterns that sputter in the wind. The lanterns cast trembling amber circles on the wet walls, and for a moment I think I see the shadows moving of their own accord, as if the mist has taken shape. "We need to get to the old well," Cale says, his eyes scanning the gloom. "It's the only place the mist can't reach." The old well sits at the edge of the district, a stone circle half filled with water that reflects the violet sky. Legend says the well was blessed by the first priestess of Viridian, a guardian of light that can hold back any darkness. We hurry, the rain turning into a torrent that threatens to sweep us away. My cloak clings to my skin, the wool now soaked through, heavy as lead. I can feel the dagger's glow intensify, as if it senses the proximity of the well's ancient magic. Rook appears beside us, his grin now a fierce grin, his own sword drawn. You think you can outrun the mist, he taunts, but his eyes betray a flicker of worry. Cale doesn't answer. He pushes forward, his blade cutting a clean arc through a tendril of black mist that tries to coil around my ankle. The mist recoils, hissing like a wounded animal. I glance back, the market is a sea of shadows, the Sunstone heart's shattered pieces glittering like broken stars on the cobblestones. The black mist swirls, forming shapes that remind me of the nightmares I have tried to bury. Focus on the light, I whisper to myself, recalling the lavender's scent, the warmth of Cale's hand, the steady hum of the dagger. I close my eyes again, letting the memory of the well's cool water fill my mind. When I open them, the well is only a few strides away. The stone circle is ancient, covered in moss and vines that glisten with rain. The water inside is dark, but it reflects the violet sky above, a portal to something deeper. Cale reaches the well first, dropping his sword into the water. The blade disappears with a soft splash, and the water ripples, sending a wave of light up the stone walls. The black mist that had been pressing against us recoils, as if burned by an unseen flame. Rook steps forward, his own weapon clanging against the stone. He throws the dagger I hold into the well. The silver blade spins, its violet glow merging with the water's surface, creating a vortex of light that pushes the darkness back. For a heartbeat, everything is still. The rain continues to fall, but the mist has retreated, pulled back into the cracks of the Sunstone heart's shattered shell. We did it, Cale says, his voice softer now, the urgency gone, replaced by a weary relief. He turns to me, his eyes searching mine. I meet his gaze, feeling the weight of everything that has happened settle between us. The rain drips from his hair, each drop catching the lantern light like tiny diamonds. You saved me, I say, my voice hoarse from shouting and crying. He smiles, a small, genuine curve of his lips. You saved us all, he replies, his hand finding mine again, this time without a cloak between us. Rook leans against the well, his grin returning, though his eyes are softer now. Looks like the night won't swallow us after all, he says, his voice low enough that only we hear. I feel the dagger's glow fade as it sinks deeper, its purpose fulfilled. The water in the well settles, the violet light dimming to a gentle shimmer. We stand there, three silhouettes against the rain-soaked stone, the market behind us a distant echo of chaos. The smell of lavender lingers, a reminder that even in the darkest of storms, there are moments of calm. I pull my cloak tighter, not because of the cold, but because I am finally allowed to feel the weight of it without fear. The wool no longer bites, it feels like a shield. What now, I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Cale squeezes my hand. We rebuild, he says. We find the pieces of the Sunstone heart and mend what was broken, and we keep the darkness at bay together. Rook chuckles, the sound echoing off the stone walls. And maybe, just maybe, we finally get a night without rain to enjoy a drink at the tavern. I laugh, a sound that feels like it could shatter the lingering mist. The rain continues to fall, but it no longer feels like an enemy. It is simply rain, a rhythm that matches the beating of my heart. As we turn to leave the well, I glance back one last time. The water reflects a faint violet glow, a promise that the shadow magic within me is not a curse, but a part of who I am, one that can be wielded for protection, for love, for the future. The three of us walk back through the market's ruined stalls, the lanterns now flickering with renewed vigor. Vendors begin to emerge, eyes wide with awe at the sight of us, survivors, protectors, a trio bound by fate and fire. I feel Cale's arm slip around my shoulders, his grip firm yet gentle. Rook walks beside us, his grin now a steady beacon. We'll face whatever comes, I say, my voice steady, the lavender scent still clinging to my skin, grounding me. Together, Cale replies, his breath warm against my ear, the promise in his words as solid as the stone beneath our feet. The rain finally eases, the clouds parting just enough to let a sliver of moonlight pierce the violet sky. The city of Viridian glimmers, its streets washed clean, its people hopeful. And as I walk forward, dagger in hand, cloak dripping, I know that the darkness will always be there, waiting. But so will the light, within me, within Kale, within Rook, and within the very heart of this city. The night may try to swallow us, but we have learned to hold the flame, to shape the shadows, and to love in a world where magic and danger walk hand in hand.